Outside, the night stretches on endlessly, silent, cold, and still. The train hums beneath me, a soft vibration that carries through the empty car. It's nearly empty here, just me, a few scattered strangers, and the rhythmic clatter of wheels against steel. The last train home. Have you ever taken a train this late? When the world outside the windows looks like it's forgotten you. The streetlights blur into long streaks of gold, flickering in and out of the darkness. Sometimes I catch a glimpse of something fleeting, a shadow of trees, the outline of a house, or the faint glow of a distant town. But mostly, it's just the black void of the night, broken only by the reflection of my own face, staring back at me from the glass. And it's quiet, not silent, no. The train has its own language, the hum of the engine, the gentle creak of metal, and the soft hiss of the doors when we stop, even if no one gets on or off. It's the kind of quiet that wraps around you, the kind that doesn't demand anything. I wonder sometimes about the others riding this late train. Who are they? Where are they going? I see a woman a few rows ahead, her head resting against the window, her breath fogging the glass ever so slightly. She looks tired, not just physically, but that deep, kind of tired you feel in your soul, the kind that sits in your chest like a stone. There's a man in a rumpled suit near the back, his tie loosened, and his gaze distant. He's holding a phone, but he's not looking at it. He hasn't moved in minutes, as if the motion of the train has swallowed him whole. I'll probably never see them again. This train is just a moment in time, a brief intersection of our lives, before we scatter like leaves in the wind. The thing about trains is they don't just carry you from one place to another. They give you time to think, to feel, to remember, maybe even to regret. I've always found something hauntingly beautiful about train rides. There's a finality to them, a path laid out in steel and stone, one that doesn't deviate no matter what. You board the train, and from the moment it starts, you're committed to the journey. I think about all the journeys I've taken in my life. Some were deliberate, carefully planned. Others were impulsive, fueled by some restless need to escape, to move, to go anywhere but where I was. And then there are the journeys I never took, the ones I let slip through my fingers because I was too scared, or too comfortable, or too uncertain. Do you ever wonder about the roads you didn't take, the lives you didn't live? The train slows. The squeal of the brakes fills the air loud and sharp, breaking through my thoughts. We're at a small station now. Outside, the platform is illuminated by dim lights that cast long, empty shadows. No one gets on. No one gets off. And after a moment, we're moving again. The clattering of the tracks returning like a heartbeat. There's something comforting about that sound, don't you think? The steady rhythm, the predictability of it. It's like a lullaby, something ancient and unchanging. I press my forehead against the window, feeling the cool glass against my skin. Outside, the darkness seems alive, vast, and endless. It makes me feel small, insignificant, and yet there's a strange kind of freedom in that feeling. The journey isn't over yet. I remember a train ride from years ago. It was winter. and I was leaving a city I'd called home for too long. I didn't know where I was going, not really. I just knew I had to leave. The snow fell in thick, heavy flakes, blanketing the world in white. The train cut through it like a knife, and I sat there, watching the snow swirl past the windows, feeling like I was shedding an old skin. There's a certain poetry to leaving. It's painful, yes, but it's also necessary. You can't stay in the same place forever. Sometimes you have to step onto the train, even if you're not sure where it's taking you. The train stops again. This time, a man gets on. He's older, with silver hair and a weathered face. He clutches a small suitcase, and as he walks down the aisle, our eyes meet for the briefest of moments. There's something in his gaze, something that feels heavy, like he's carrying more than just that suitcase. I wonder about him, about his story. Everyone on this train has a story, even me. It's funny, isn't it? How we're all passengers in someone else's world. We pass by each other like ships in the night, sharing this brief moment of time, and then we're gone. How many people have I passed by in my life without ever really seeing them, without ever knowing their names, their fears, their dreams? The train rocks gently, and I close my eyes for a moment. I think about where I'm going, about what's waiting for me at the end of this line. Sometimes it feels like life is just a series of trains. Some we board, some we miss, and some we watch pull away from the platform, knowing we were never meant to be on them in the first place. The hum of the train is soothing now, like a song I didn't realize I was listening to. The lights outside flicker, casting fleeting shadows across the walls. And then, as if from nowhere, a memory comes to me. A summer evening, years ago. I was sitting on a train much like this one, watching the sun set over the horizon. The sky was painted in shades of gold and crimson. And for a moment, it felt like the world was on fire. I remember feeling something then, a kind of hope, or maybe just the fleeting sense that everything would be okay, that even if I didn't know where I was going, the journey itself would be enough. The train slows again. Another station. This one feels different though. It's brighter, more alive. I gather my things, standing as the train glides to a stop, the last train home. Maybe home isn't a place. Maybe it's a feeling, a moment, a person, or maybe it's just the journey itself. I step off the train, the cool night air hitting my face. The station is quiet, but not empty. Somewhere in the distance, I heard a faint sound of footsteps, and just like that, the train pulls away, leaving me behind. The last train home. And now, the journey